Hey, we're going to cover some great things here about the market, investing strategies, income strategies, even more important. And Josh, strategy is an interesting word because it's not just a plan, but to me, it's really just a true thought process behind something to get you to that goal.
You are exactly right. I talk with a lot of people that come to the academy. We got thousands of people that come in, and people say, "I want to make money," or "I want to be," I want to learn and stuff like that. But that's really, knowing what it isn't going to help. But that's why you do need that strategy for, like you're saying, for that for income, right?
Right.
So, and there's different ways to approach that. One would be, you can go get another job, right? That's an option people have. But that requires more time for money. You got to go somewhere. You're away from your kids, your families, and all that stuff, and the fun things, the golf course, the things that we like to do. But there's also an opportunity with the financial markets to have an income strategy. And that's where you can use the market for either short-term income goals or longer-term income strategies, right? And there's a couple different assets that I think a lot of people just don't really know about. If they've heard about them, they say, "Oh, I didn't even want to learn," because they just don't know. And futures and forex would be the two in particular I want to kind of explain a little bit for your listeners. Is what they are, because everybody grows up on the stock market, and the stock market it's the most expensive to get into. It's only open 6.5 hours a day, 7:30 until 2 o'clock our time, Mountain Time, right? And it's tough for people, especially that work during the day. It's kind of hard to sneak off to the bathroom or on a break or lunch break or something and do your trades and investments and actually have a strategy to do that. If you're doing it that way, you're just going and guessing and reacting to the market. So the futures market allows everyday people to be able to trade and invest any time of day. It's actually open around the clock. So it actually opens up on Sunday at 4 o'clock our time here, and it closes on Friday at 4 o'clock. And it's round the clock, 24 hours a day. Well, it's 23, but we'll call it 24. It's close enough. And so if people that want to have that income strategy, they can do that on top of their job, say in the evening or in the early morning. Say they go to work at 9 o'clock, market's open at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., right? So it allows people to get in the markets that had that time constraint with the stock market. Now, also, it allows leverage. Basically, what that means is you can control a much larger asset with a smaller amount of capital. So let me give you an example here. If you're looking at, we'll say, Apple stock. What is Apple stock at right now? Apple is at $138 per share. Now, if you were to buy Apple, and I'm really bad at math here, so I'm going to take out my calculator. I'm sure our listeners are like, that was pretty easy math, but you don't need to be a math genius to be a trader investor.
Exactly.
So if Apple is at $138 a share, and let's just say you want to buy 1,000 shares of that, what do you need? You're going to need $138,000 to purchase those 1,000 shares. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if you're listening now and you're like, hey, I don't have $138,000. Well, a lot of people don't. It's tough to do that, right?
Sure.
With leverage, you can actually control much more with the futures market. It actually allows 20-to-1 leverage. So what that means is for every dollar that you have, you can control up to 20 in the market. Another example would be a mortgage. Most people don't really pay cash for their homes. They do a mortgage. So it takes a small down payment. So we'll say a small $50,000 down payment, and you can control, we'll say, a $400,000 home with that. That's leverage. You can do the same thing in the financial markets. And you can also start with smaller account sizes. So, for example, in the stock market, if you're going to trade more than 4 times per week, you're going to need 25 grand. I don't know about you, but tying up 25 grand just for some measly stocks isn't very efficient. Mm-hmm. Where with futures, you can start with much less. Most broker will require between 3 and 5 thousand to get started, but you're not using that whole 3 to 5,000. You're using a portion of that. You may only use 1,500 of that to get in a position that controls $100,000 in oil. So it's just the opportunity to do that. And the futures market is it's like your commodities, gold, oil, silver. We all know those. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ. You can trade you can actually trade the stock market through the futures market.
Okay.
So you're more efficient with the capital that you do have.
Right. So when you're watching these things, whether you maybe TV programs, whatever, on the markets, and you're following things online, what are the kind of the first things that you look at to kind of tell you, I think this is what the day's going to look like or the week's going to look like? And it's hard to tell that sometimes. But what are the first things that you really key in on?
Yeah, well, it's really just price action on a chart.
Okay.
Now, I think we were talking a little bit earlier about the news and what you can get out of an opinion, right? Now, price on a chart, that doesn't lie. Earnings reports, they can lie, they can fabricate those. Company management can say good things about their company, and it may not be that good. So one of the first things that you do in trading and investing, you just go to the chart. And by the way, a chart, you find that on a platform. We actually have our own platform. It's called Click.
Okay.
And that's where you get all your data from. So basically, and this is what we teach you how to do, is how to read this price chart. And essentially, it's a story. So once you can read the story, you can determine what happens next, and then you just put odds and probabilities into your favor. So it's a learned skill. And that's why having a strategy, it's a skill that you learn and that we teach at Online Trading Academy. And actually in these investing classes that we do here locally, we introduce you to these different strategies. How does the price chart, what does that actually look like? How do you find it? Where do you get started to go? And how do you make those smarter investing decisions by being proactive rather than reactive? So like you said, how do you look for that strategy, or what do you do that day? Okay, maybe you look in the morning and your positions don't happen until later. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to be at your computer the whole time. By the way, if you want to learn more about that, we have these investing classes that we do locally here, and these are about 2 hours. And I teach these every single week. We have them on Wednesdays. We have these on Saturdays, in the evenings, Thursdays. We pretty much make it available for anybody. You can text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 free tickets for this free investing class, and we'll introduce you to some of these different income strategies, but also how to plan a day and where to find your information that is factual, not fabricated.
Right. And boy, you want to look at something that's changed over. I think all the trading course used to have to be on the stock exchange floor, right? Mm-hmm. And then when things went online, so this is something that really can give someone the freedom to kind of be anywhere and work their job, right?
I think you hit the nail on the head. People want more freedom, and they want to be able to be flexible with their location, their time. Quite frankly, all you need is an internet connection. They got internet everywhere. That pine tree out there probably has internet, right? And it just allows people to have that flexibility and be mobile, do the things that they want to do. So as we were talking about earlier about the strategies, how do you plan for your day or your week, how we set that up and how we train our students and people that are listening right now at the academy, how we train you how to trade and invest is plan that ahead of time, set your trades and investments up ahead of time, and then wait for price to come to you. So you're not chasing, you're not being reactive to some news that happened on the market or on TV or something. You already have your positions in there, but you have that low risk, high reward, and high probability entry points. And that's at or near a turn in price. It's typically at that. And that's really supply and demand at its finest.
Right, absolutely. Once again, all you have to do is text investing to 210-210 for your 2 free tickets to an upcoming class on how the markets work and receive that quick start kit. And so just briefly, what's in that little starter kit?
Well, there's a few things there. There's some topics in there on how to get started. So if you're brand new to the markets, like where to go for your information, what's the right stuff to look at. So really it's a lot about how to get started. Some of the fallacies of the market, mm-hmm. How most people think the market works. We kind of break that down a little bit, but also some free stuff in there as well. There's some free stock picks, and it kind of explains and kind of shows what that supply and demand strategy in the market actually looks like. So that's what's in that kit.
Right. And one thing I've always appreciated what you guys your strategy has been to let people come learn about this for a couple hours, see if it's for them. You've said many times just on the few weeks we've been here, hey, is this for everybody? No. But you know what? This could be the exact tool that you're looking for to help with your retirement, help you have a strategy for income, because, hey, we look at layoffs. It doesn't take long to be around friends and hear about somebody, job loss, companies cutting jobs, and man, to me, this is just your chance to kind of take control of what's going on with your money. Because you want to talk about risk. What's risky? Hey, getting a call once a year from maybe some person.
that.
Yeah, and that's if you call them, right?
Yeah.
To say, hey, what's going on? But to me, that's a lot more risk. At least you know what's going on.
Yeah, that goes back to your comment earlier about people want control. People want control in their finances, and I mean, you got to think about it too. I mean, to say it in a nice way, which doesn't sound nice, but it's actually a nice way. It's almost common sense. People work their whole lives, right? Sometimes 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and save up for retirement, and then they hand it off to a stranger that said some nice things, rainbows and puppy dogs. We're going to put it in this strategy, and we're going to be in it for the long haul, and it sounds really good.
Right.
I mean, they do a really good job on selling everyday people and giving their life savings to them.
Yeah.
And really all they're doing is holding it. And nothing against the people that are in the industry. I actually know a lot of people that are in the industry. But it's the business, right? It's their job is to gain assets under management. So people they're looking for that control, but they do the things they're told to do, which is actually taking the control out of your hands. But I think part of the reason is because they just don't know how to do it.
Right.
And that's why we have these free investing classes. That way you can see how it's done. How does it actually work? How does it function? And that way it's no longer foreign to you, right? It's something that you know. It's a learned skill. I mean, everybody learned how to drive a car or ride a bike, raise children. You don't
Sure.
know how to do that, but how do you learn? You take action and you do it. But you got to learn from people that have been doing it for years. Like you mentioned, the Floresy Exchanges. A lot of our instructors actually came from the Floresy Exchanges, and that's who's training our students. So being guided by people that have been in the industry, but also know what you might need based just off conversations, and then guiding you into the right place to go.
All right. Text the word investing to 210-210 right now for your 2 free tickets to an upcoming class. When we come back, Josh, let's talk about this. And I kind of meant to start off with this, but the markets were on my mind of just explaining about Online Trading Academy. Hey, it is worldwide. But who is this really for? Who are these classes really for?
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, all aspects of life, and we'll kind of get into some of the different characteristics and traits that we look for as well.
All right.
So that'll kind of help the listeners see, is this for you? If it is, what is the right path? That first path is that free investing class. And they can just text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 free tickets and dip their toe into the water and see if trading investing is right. And if it is, how can we potentially help you with that financial future?
All right. We'll be back with more with Josh Lilquist. You're listening to Investing and Trading Live, brought to you by Online Trading Academy here in Denver.